Guys, I am Kane Matteo Camada and I am here on Dark Vanities to talk to you about something that people are not truly talking about on YouTube or in other places. I don't read forums, but I think that people are not talking about this enough. So I'm here to tell you something about my first impressions about the Fujifilm X-T30 Mark II, and most importantly, switching from a Sony system to the Fuji. Okay, so I had previously the Sony ZV-E10. Now I'm filming on the Sony ZV-1F. Okay, this one, the previous one had an APS-C sensor. This one has the 1-inch sensor, so it's considerably smaller. Then I bought and yesterday arrived the Fujifilm X-T30 Mark II, which also has an APS-C sensor, and that's okay, with the kit lens 15 to 45, power zoom, okay, with variable aperture. Now, let's be straight in this video. I will be sincere and honest with you. It was really difficult to switch to Fuji. It's not like watching a video on YouTube where people dial with the settings, or where people simply speak about the retro style or the vintage dials, the commands, the rear and the front dial and the ISO or exposure compensation and so on, film simulations most importantly. It was really difficult for me. I wanted the tactile experience, but at the same time I was really disoriented and I didn't know how to do the most simple things. For example, on Sony I have the button, if pressed it leads you toward photo, video and slow and quick SNQ, where you can make slow motion and time lapse. So honestly, it's great. I like it so much. The simple interface of the Sony cameras. I used these are the only cameras that I have ever had, so I like them. And then on Fuji, it was really different. I didn't choose the XS10 or the XM5. Remember, I chose the X-T30 Mark II, and that camera doesn't have this kind of dial or button for the PSAM, aperture, shutter, priority, aperture priority, manual or program auto, these kind of commands. It doesn't have them, and I didn't understand how to make them work, how to go back from auto to manual and so on. Then I had to realize the Q menu and also the interface, but that's part of the process, and I really didn't enjoy it. It was really tiring, and yesterday afternoon I was really tired also with my eyes, continuing reading the menu and understanding every function, because I wanted to be ready to shoot with the Fuji, to take pictures and make videos, okay? Then I realized that I just had to turn some dials, rear dial and a program dial, the rear and the front dial. I had to turn them and to press them, and then I had access to the shutter speed and ISO, aperture, and exposure compensation. I don't use it because I learned with the ZV-1F. I learned to use ISO in manual ISO. So sorry, but I have a bit of cold these days in November, and here in Como, in Italy, so it's a bit difficult for me to keep talking in front of the camera. What else? So it was difficult for me to actually realize how to make the camera work, and the other disadvantage was about the impossibility to look at myself when shooting or taking selfies, because that camera doesn't have the flip out screen or a flip up screen. For example, the XE4 has the flip up screen like the Sony X6400, but the XM5, XS10, XS20 have the flip out screen like the XT200, like the Sony ZV-E10 or the Sony ZV-1F that I'm shooting on right now. So What else? The real bad surprise about this camera was not the learning curve to understand how the camera functions and how to press, when to press, how to distinguish the settings. That's okay. It was normal. Also with the Sony ZV-10, it was a nightmare the first day, okay, and the first night after our marriage, and even later after the divorce. Then I had to understand without the manual, pressing and dealing with the buttons and everything in the interface. Now I made it work. What was the bad surprise? The Sony cameras divide, and this is really important. You need to listen to this part of the video because people don't talk about this, and this is crucial in my opinion. Fuji cameras don't make proxies, okay? The proxy is that file that you use on the laptop in camera when you want to edit a huge size file like 4K or 120 Full HD and 120 FPS slow motion. These files are massive, and our laptops usually don't have the capacity to work them or to even play them. So what do we do? Even without the editing software, I use the proxy generated also in the ZV-1F. That's the point. Also, this small, little underrated and hated camera has that function. I can use the proxies first to edit the videos. Second, even if I want to just edit the proxies without even the huge file, huge file sizes, I have the 720p, the HD file, a really low bit rate, I think at 8 Mbps, I don't know, and that's okay, because it's really fluid and it allows me to work properly with the file, post-processing and everything. Because I want, or if you want to cut some parts to make a edit and a video more structured. Okay, the problem is that Fuji doesn't have this, so I just have the 4K DCI cinematic, 200 megabits per second, 24 FPS, okay, and so on. But when I try to open the file, it didn't open on my laptop. Now I will try if it opens on the newer laptop that I have, which actually is 5 years old, but it's new for me because the other one has, I think, 13 years old. So honestly, I will try to open these files, but they are massive, they are huge. 3 minutes of video are almost 3 gigabytes and a half, okay? Just 3 minutes of video. But they have amazing quality, that's the positive thing, but you cannot post-process them because you need to make proxies. And that's a huge problem for me. The other thing is that the Fuji cameras don't divide the files, because on Sony I have a folder for the photos, then 3 folders for video. The first one has the video and the XML file, which allows to play back the video in the camera, okay, when you are shooting and you want to review something. The second folder is the sub, and sub has the proxies, the smaller, really smaller files, which you can use to play back, to edit, and to share on social media, for example. Okay, the third folder has the thumbnail of the videos. I think, again, for the preview, it's okay, in 16:9. Okay, that's the point. And the numbers are clear, because in the main video folder, you have, for example, C120, okay? C0120 means that that's the 120th video that you have done with that camera, for example, on the Sony ZV-1F. On the proxy, in the proxy folder, you have the C0120S03, and that's the proxy. It clearly shows you that you have in front of you a proxy file, a smaller sized file. And that's really clear if you want to look for these files later in after months or years, okay? Or if you put them into storage, mass storage, then it's easier to find them because they are logically consequential, and you know okay? The thing is that proxies are not made with the 120 FPS, but that's okay for the slow motion, that's okay, that's another matter. I am talking about mainly the videos in 4K, okay? The videos like this will have the proxy. Then in the Fuji, it's not like that. In Fuji camera, I saw yesterday night that photos and videos are in the same folder, and that's not a good thing, my friends in Fuji. Please help me to, Fuji guys, help me to deal with the settings and to distinguish the folders and the names, because the videos are consequential in the photo number, so you don't no longer have C0120 or C0120 S03. Firstly, you don't have the proxies. Secondly, the photo, for example, photo is DCSF blah 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 02, then the video is DCF blah 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 03. So it's really a mess. My God, I can't see the point of this. Honestly, it's just a mess and a nightmare to find the files. I just had to create a private group on Telegram and to put theirs to storage the photos and the videos, but they are in the same place, so I am actually in difficult to look back. I always have to look at the extension to check if it's a JPEG or MP4, and that's not a good thing, okay? Then I will need to check the audio and the other things. I bought the X-T30 Mark II especially for the slow motion in 240 FPS, but I have not yet used it. I need to understand how to activate the high speed mode, and if the the shutter speed is regular, is set automatically according to the FPS. So 240 FPS should be 480. 1 over 480 seconds. Okay. That's all for me for today. My journey with Fujifilm continues, and that's all. I'm glad that I bought that camera, but at the same time I'm a bit confused. How will I use it? Now I have to check if the talking head that I made today about the TV series The Penguin, if it's just if it has been recorded properly, okay? That's all for me, my friends. In a horror, of fantasy and gothic fiction, I'm Karen Blixen. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.